Good evening, everyone. So I'm about to do a review of my Saberforge Phoenix, and I decided to go easy on myself and just film this in the spare bedroom on a desk, and just keep it really simple. And I actually kind of like the lighting here anyway, so also not planning on swinging this saber around or really showing off the LED too much. I did that in a video last night, so if you happen to see that or missed it, uh, well, it's there, so you can watch it. So anyway, there's the pommel. Yes, pommel it is. Uh, One of the things about this particular pommel is it just has the one opening, and these little cutaways here, um, obviously aren't vents, so the sound is a little bit confined. Not the loudest saber, but it does the job, and I find the pommel reminiscent of the pommel that you would find on Luke or Obi-Wan sabers. You've got your cubes, and you got whatever this little section's called here. Uh, you can see the CoverTech wheel. A lot of detail on the CoverTech wheel. They invest mightily in the CoverTech wheel. Interesting thing about the Phoenix is this section carries through to here and to here. It's all just kind of one piece. It's like an underlaying saber, as is sort of the style with this sort of Ahsoka Tano-esque saber. This is very much like the Ultra Saber's Fulcrum. Obviously, it's much smaller. Uh, I have a ruler, but it's not quite long enough. But you can kind of get the sense as a teensy little ruler. So it's only 8 inches long, and you probably add about maybe about 3 inches. So it's about an 11-inch saber. And the Tano or the Katano, that is another sort of Ahsoka Tano-esque saber that Saberforge produces. That comes in the high chrome finish, and I'm not a big fan of the chrome finish. I like something a little bit more brushed aluminum kind of looking, matte, something that's a lot less of a fingerprint magnet, which is sort of what the deal is with this thing. So anyway, so you get this kind of a core that goes all the way through to the emitter, and then it has a shroud piece, and it's kind of a very thin sort of shroud bit of aluminum. And near as I can tell, the only thing that really holds the shroud on, other than the blade retention screw that you see there, is probably the CoverTech wheel, and the fact that it goes flush up against this part right here. So it does tend to, if you're wielding this thing, you can kind of a little bit feel the shroud kind of shifting and moving a little bit. It's not a big deal. I mean, it's just kind of, I find this saber to be really sort of a professional shelf queen. The first thing I noticed was the thinness of the metal, which is, it's not bad. I mean, it's definitely, the quality's there. But with these little rabbit ears, I'd be inclined to think that this might be a bit fragile. So I don't think this is the ideal dueler. Right now I have a 32-inch blade. It came with a 37-inch blade. It was just far too heavy and completely unwieldy. But with a 32-inch, it's a pretty wieldy saber. However, handling it up here towards the emitter is probably not very recommended, because the edges of this are very sharp. And now I haven't injured myself on it, but I could see myself getting sort of lacerated by this. So it's really, like I said, it's meant to look really good, and it's more of a shelf queen. I wouldn't deal with it, but that's just me. Okay, so anyway, I got a little bit of dust in there. Okay. uh yeah, so the underlying hilt has very much that Qui-Gon Jinn saber kind of feel to it, and I do like that. I like Qui-Gon Jinn's saber, although the only version of it that I currently have is the Ultra Saber's Consular, and I don't feel. I mean, although that's a very good saber and I enjoy it mightily, it's not quite as good as what Saberforge produces. So that's kind of on my short list of sabers that one of these days I like to acquire. When I come across them, depending on the price, I usually spring for that, but I don't always buy them from Saberforge Direct. 5 months is, I'm an impatient guy. Anyway, so the switch is backlit in a kind of indigo to match the LED color. The strange thing about the kill key, not that it really matters, is it's kind of printed off center. So, but then again, who cares? Let's see, what else? What else we got going on here? Yeah, well, we get your LED retention screw there. You got, I'm not exactly sure what purpose this one serves, because this is what holds the blade on. But then again, this may also hold the blade on. I haven't even experimented with that yet. I just kind of ignored it because once I tightened this blade on and it stayed. So I'll have to figure out what the situation is with that. Okay, so you got your cutaways. And little bunny ears. This saber eludes mightily and kind of takes liberties with sort of it's kind of a hodgepodge of a Graflex, Qui-Gon Jinn saber, Luke's, and Obi-Wan's. A lot of elements of all four of those sabers in this one package. I really do like these cubes. I like cubes. And so let's turn it on. This is a veteran tiered saber with an indigo LED. And currently, near as I can tell, to the best of my knowledge, Saberforge seems to have discontinued the indigo LED.
Saberforge Viridian.
So I'm not going to subject you to all the fonts. I just keep this one on crimson. Someone actually recommended to me with the indigo LED, changing the settings too much has this tendency of burning out one of the LEDs in the setup. It's a quad Cree, and it can have a detrimental effect on the lifespan of the LEDs. So I pretty much have this where I want it for all three of the settings, so I can switch between them. I tend to use the flicker. I like the flicker, and I have my settings I use. So here, let's turn this thing on. Currently, it's on Viridian or Viridium. The video doesn't really represent the color accurately. I admit there's a lot more blue in it.
Saberforge Crimson. Saberforge Crimson.
Main menu. Select
Oops.
optical frequency 1.
I didn't want to do that. I am very tired, so please forgive me for this. But at least this gives me the opportunity to show you the solid.
Select sound intensity low. High. Select impact sensitivity 1, 2, 3, 4. Select motion sensitivity 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All settings saved.
So, crimson.
Saberforge Gunmetal. Saberforge Gunmetal.
Can't even So as you can hear, it's not the loudest saber.
Saberforge Viridian.
Saberforge Crimson. Saberforge Gunmetal.
Saberforge Viridian. Saberforge Viridian.
So that gives you the gist, the measure of this saber. And of course, this is an elite tiered saber. And from Saberforge, based on my experience with the elite sabers, I was expecting something a little bit larger. So this is actually more of a apprentice size hilt, which kind of surprised me a bit. Much smaller than I would assume the fulcrum is, or even the Lost Gray for that matter, from Ultra Sabers. But yeah, fine addition to my collection, and I rather enjoy it. The only issues being, of course, it seems like it could possibly be a little fragile, so dueling's right out, and the possibility of injuring myself here. This is a very thin metal too. Yeah, at any rate, so there you go. That's my review of the Saberforge Phoenix. And in case anybody is wondering, if you don't know what a phoenix is, I met someone, I worked with someone once, and she did not know what a phoenix is. So it's a mythical bird. I don't know the whole lore, but the gist of it is the bird, when it dies, it basically immolates itself, turns into a big pile of ashes, and then after a set amount of time, it resurrects itself from the ashes. Kind of the ashes kind of become sort of an egg or an embryo kind of situation. Whatever. If you watch Harry Potter and you see the Dumbledore's bird Fawkes is a phoenix, so that kind of gives you an idea. That's a fairly accurate representation. Well, I think, I don't know, I'm not an expert on the topic, but it seems to be pretty accurate to me of what a phoenix is. So there you go. If you don't know, look it up. Why the Ahsoka Tano saber that we have here is called the Phoenix, I don't know. I suppose there's some kind of relevance to that, but I guess it's up to Saberforge to explain that. Anyway, I bid you guys a good evening, and I hope you enjoyed this review. And if you care to subscribe, I invite it. I invite comments, likes, and dislikes. So have yourself a good night, and I'll come at you tomorrow with, I think, possibly some unboxings. We'll find out, won't we? All right, take care now. Bye.